When we come with that heat, we got skip on the.
It is Monday, but son, I am preaching today. Imagine Nico, first round of the playoffs, plays at Neyland Stadium. Bro, that would be insane.
He wants more than what NFL players get. Brock Purdy, his career earnings is $2.8 million.
This is not the way to go about things at all.
I've got a bad feeling he might end up like Malachi Nelson, go to another school, end up losing the job, and then now Malachi Nelson's at UTEP.
Truly, no one is above the program. That's what Heupel said in the press conference, not even himself.
That power T right there means the world to so many people. Here we go, boys. 28. Episode 28, $1 Million Radio. Y'all remember that time last episode when I was like, we're going to be talking about some NBA playoffs. We got some NFL draft coming up. We got some storylines to talk about. That all changed over this last week. I think we're going to be talking about mainly one thing in this episode. And before we get started, I would just like to say that the message of the day, nothing easy. There ain't nothing easy, Jacob. And that is included with the Tennessee Volunteers. Whether it's, having to face a 7'6" guy in the Elite Eight or get to another Elite Eight and score 15 points in the first half, there's nothing easy about being a Vol. Whether it's losing on a game-winning Hail Mary to Florida with the football team, whether it's
not beating Georgia in half a decade.
Yeah,
losing 15 straight games to Alabama. There's nothing easy being a Tennessee Volunteer. And now we had a lot of good thoughts and hopes, aspirations going into this next upcoming fall for the Tennessee Volunteers football team. Some of that's changed. Some of that's changed. No, I still do too.
Yeah.
I still do too.
I'm more pumped than ever, my brother.
But it came out last week.
We got Merc Slinger coming out.
We'll get to that in just a second with the spring game. But I'm sure everybody's heard by now, Tennessee has had a falling out with star quarterback Nico Iamaleava. And I think we've been pronouncing his name wrong this whole time, guys. I think it's Nico Iamaleava. He's leaving the Tennessee Volunteers over an NIL dispute. Was trying to get a different contract, get more money this season.
He ain't leaving, brother.
Oh,
no.
He's out of here.
Josh Heupel said, we're moving on without you.
Yeah, he got basically kicked off the team. I'm not going to lie, boys. I was a big Nico fan, super excited with, his redshirt freshman year starting and leading us to the playoffs. It was a great year. There were definitely a lot of moments where I was looking for Nico to improve on, either throughout the season or throughout this offseason going into next year. So many great throws and so many huge overthrows or big misses down the field. But that's going to happen with a freshman quarterback, no matter how good they are. And I was really excited to see him take that step forward. Maybe, see him come out in the spring game, sling it around a little bit. But that didn't happen because Nico Iamaleava wanted more money from Tennessee. And we'll get into all the details and stuff, but ended up missing practice and just ghosting the Tennessee Volunteers and Josh Heupel and the offensive coordinator, Joey Halsley. Thursday night, Nico was at practice all week. He's been at practice all spring. Thursday night, they had a quarterback dinner at the offensive coordinator's house. Nico was there. Nothing seemed out of sorts, apparently. And then word got out on Thursday that Nico and his camp were looking for a new NIL deal, basically a raise from $2 million a year at 20 years old to $4 million a year. And not only did Tennessee have an issue with that. Didn't feel like he was worth that money. Already signed, took a big chance on him out of high school, went to bat for him and sued the NCAA for Nico to get paid and be able to play with the Vols. And now him and his camp want more money. They're not getting it, at least from us. And missed practice on Friday. That's just such a big red flag. It is the first ever NIL holdout for a player in collegiate sports, to my knowledge at least. And yeah, just not a good look the day before the spring game, the end of the spring training camp. You miss practice because you want more money. You ghost your coaches. You ghost your teammates. Good riddance, may I say. Good riddance. And
Agree.
Sorry. Welcome in Jacob Fine, Griffin Watts into episode 28, $1 Million Radio.
No,
Sorry,
dude.
boys.
Keep going. I agree.
Yeah, for real.
Everything.
It is Monday, but son, I am preaching today. No, but in all seriousness, man, like, it's such a bad look. He's been in talks to, maybe go to USC or UCLA, back out to Cali. I've also heard Notre Dame, Texas Tech.
The last list I saw was Oregon, Ohio State, and Colorado were the three.
North Carolina, too.
Yeah, I have heard rumors about that, too.
I'm going to be honest. That kid could probably go anywhere he wants. But with the situation taking place how it has, what other team is going to want a guy like that to join their team?
Honestly, for the sake of college football, if teams and coaches and all that wanted to preserve the integrity of the sport, no one should pick him up.
I agree with you.
Just to say you're not going to do this and you're not going to get rewarded for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not going to happen. I know he's going to get paid what he wants, where he wants, or all that stuff. But if to preserve the sport, it probably would be in everyone's best interest just to not pay him.
Yeah. In the ideal world, and this is, I don't want to see anybody fail or not succeed, especially when they're at this position with a chance to go on to the NFL. But in an ideal world, Nico would have to now go to a small school, get paid small school money because nobody, maybe not a JUCO, but something like Sun Belt's MAC action.
Well, see, I'm
Big 12 at this
I've
point.
got a bad
State.
feeling he might end up like Malachi Nelson, go to another school, end up losing the job, and then now Malachi Nelson's at UTEP.
Yeah. Yeah, Malachi Nelson, the former Boise State quarterback, but
What about the UNLV quarterback too? So, didn't he play over in NIL?
Yeah, he left it. I guess
UNLV.
that could be considered a holdout. And that was in the first 3 games of the season last year.
Yeah.
So, but just we got the spring transfer portal opening up Wednesday. We'll see where Nico ends up. We'll see if we go out and get a quarterback in the transfer portal, which I think we should do. I think we need. I like our young quarterbacks. They didn't look terrible yesterday. Yeah. We do need more depth for sure. But they're both freshman, sophomore quarterbacks going into this season. And,
George McIntyre is an early enrollee freshman, and then
so he'll be a true freshman.
Yeah, and then Merkslinger was a class of 2024.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he'll be a redshirt freshman or a sophomore, one of those. But
I'm calling him Merkslinger. Just let me know.
No, I like that name.
Come on, what about Jay Merck?
Yeah, Jay Merck.
I like that.
That's nice, quick.
G Mac and J Merck.
Oh yeah,
G Mac and J Merck. There we go. I kind of was slacking this weekend. I was at work pretty much the whole weekend, so I didn't see any of the spring game. I did talk to some tables on Saturday that went to the game. I went. Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was not a game at all. It was like drills the whole time.
That's still cool to see though.
It was.
See what they do.
It was cool. And all the camaraderie. And what really gets me is how supportive not only Tennessee fans have been for Heupel and the whole program as well, but even rivals and other schools that we have no association with, that we've never played or anything. they're coming out and saying this was absolutely the right move to walk away from this situation.
Oh, yeah.
You're preserving the sport.
Yeah.
This was a win for college football. It's cool to see an outpouring of support. And, like, it kind of goes to show, like, hey, truly no one is above the program. That's what Heupel said in the press conference, not even himself, you know?
Nobody is bigger than the power T. That power T right there means the world to so many people. And when you give up on your team because you want more money, and there are reports and rumors that it was Oregon coach Dan Lanning who came out and told Josh Heupel, I wouldn't say came out, but, you know, told Josh Heupel off record that it was Nico's dad, I guess, that was out shopping him around
His camp.
His people
Yeah.
were out shopping him around to other teams. And then more reports came out over the last 24 hours that Nico was actually among some other players in college football that were about to sit out in the college football playoffs, the first ever 12-team college football playoff, to go on and win a national championship or have a chance to. He was about to sit out of the playoffs because he wanted more money back in December. And the thought behind that was, you know, we signed this deal for a 12-game season, maybe 13 if you make the conference championship. And now that we're playing in the postseason, you want more money. But it's such a terrible look. Such a terrible look.
It is.
And I do think it's Nico's camp that's kind of exploiting him in this situation. I hate to put it like this, but I kind of hope that Nico is more of a victim in this situation and his camp is kind of screwing him over and this is not his idea, which is kind of what it seems like. But, oh, man.
Hell, just imagine this has not happened, of course, but what if there was like some 4D chess happening here? All these other schools are overvaluing him whenever Nico and his camp are shopping around, and then it causes this dispute for Tennessee to lose their quarterback.
Yeah.
Like every other school overvalues him, and they're like, oh, well, we could be getting more money somewhere else, and then all of a sudden it creates the fight.
I will say this. This could be a discussion that we could have, him getting that $4 million a year. If he were to have a great season last year, he had an okay season. He had a good season. If he were to have a great season last year, we may be able to enter this conversation. If he were to go on and this year be that star quarterback that we expected him to be and lead us back to the playoffs, maybe get a playoff win, maybe a home game, who knows? If it were a season like that, maybe, and it was a situation where he could go to the NFL draft or stay another year and get paid that $4 million, or maybe this time next year could be $5 million. You know, the money just keeps going up. But the fact that it came after a lackluster season from the quarterback, they feel like he is deserving of $4 million. I don't think that, and there are going to be some bigger school, maybe not bigger, you know, in terms of stature with Tennessee, but as far as money goes, there are some schools out there who probably will be willing to pay him $4 million to just come and play for him this year. It's just so crazy that you put yourself in a position where this is a draft year for Nico Iamaleava. This is could be his last year of college football, his last chance to prove himself to the NFL scouts. He's with a team who is in, you know, probably top 10, top 15 roster wise and you know, preseason polls and whatnot. I think we may be number 12 or so in that range, but you have this camaraderie with your teammates, or what I thought maybe he had. He's got this chemistry. He knows the offense. He knows Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel knows him, knows what position to put him in and how to set him up for success. And then to just kind of ghost your team and take a chance on just a couple $1 million more right now, then put yourself in a better position to get drafted in the first round or so next year, first 2 rounds next year. It's
dude. I mean,
he's such a bad look. I keep saying that
he wants more than what NFL players get.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, you've probably seen the stat, and I have it pulled up right here. Brock Purdy, his career earnings is $2.8 million.
And he's been the starter for what, 3 years now, going on his third year?
Brock Purdy played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he wants more than a dude that started in a Super Bowl and was it not a very close game, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
If the Niners would have won that Super Bowl, it probably would have been Jawan Jennings, Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, Vol for life, baby. But you know what? I mean, how are you going to have a college quarterback that's barely done anything, who overthrows almost every single pass and misses wide open reads, wanting to make more than a Super Bowl driven quarterback? I don't get it.
Keep in mind, Jay, you said Brock Purdy, $2.8 million career earnings. Nico Iamaleava has a contract right now to, be a Tennessee Volunteer to get paid. I think it's $2.4 million a year. That includes this past season that he just played. That includes the freshman season where I don't think he took, 5 snaps until the bowl game when Joe Milton, opted out of that bowl game. But
in 2023, Brock Purdy got $724,000. In 2023, I'm sorry, that was 2022. In 2023, he got $889,000, and then last year he got $1 million. So he's earning less per year than Nico already,
and not even
and is arguably better.
Yeah, so you look around the NFL too, and not just in the Brock Purdy situation where he's still on his rookie contract, last pick of the draft. That's why his salary is so low. You look around the league to guys who are getting paid tens of $millions, like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, who take pay cuts to make the team better.
Tim Duncan,
same thing. You take pay cuts to make the team better, and Nico is looking in this sense so entitled to make more money at the deficit of the team, is willing to miss practice. That's such a big deal for any type of team, and football is the biggest team sport there is. It is such a big deal to miss practice and leave your guys out there on the field without you for any reason, to ghost your team, not talk to the coaches, ghost everybody, but for any reason, but especially just because you want more money.
And this ain't no Allen Iverson. He ain't no star that can miss practice and it not affect anything.
Aaron Rodgers is the king of that shit.
But he's Aaron Rodgers.
He's the rod god. Yeah. He's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. But Nico misses practice, and you're not on the same level, kid. There's levels to this.
You know what I think?
At the bottom.
You know what I think, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, would be so beneficial for Nico is to go with Aaron Rodgers to the Amazon and start tripping ayahuasca and get a new sense on life and what actually means stuff to you and what life means. Go with a trip to Aaron Rodgers down to the Amazon or up to Oregon, the darkness retreat, whatever it is. Go hit the clubs on the golf course with old A-Rod. Let him talk to you. Let him mentor you a little bit, because this is not the way to go about things at all. And it's so disappointing. I was such a big Nico fan and was looking forward to what he was going to be able to do. And to see this happen and him become a villain it was not on my bingo card this time last week.
No. And we were all pretty skeptical at first, right? So all the reports come out on that Thursday evening, and we have a group chat and we talk in it, and we're just kind of we're just seeing what was up, right? But then Friday, it's like, oh, he missed practice.
Yeah.
He's a no call, no show.
Before I went to work on Friday, we were texting in the group chat, and I was like, boys, I could be wrong, but I think this is all just getting blown way out of proportion. And then on the way to work, I'm listening to the radio, Tyler Ivins and Will West on 99.1, The Sports Animal. And about 4:45, I was on the way to work, and they were already talking like Nico's done. There's no way he can come back from this. And to hear those guys who have the inside sources here on campus to talk about it like that, I immediately responded. I was like, boys, I may have been wrong. I think that this is over. And then Saturday morning, it gets announced by Pete Thamel, the college football sports source, that Tennessee's cutting ties with Nico Iamaleava. And I think I can speak for all of Vol Nation in saying, good riddance, Nico. Give us Jake Merkslinger, give us G-Mac, George McIntyre, and give us a chance to pick somebody up on Wednesday in the spring portal. I may be making a video later this week to give more input on whatever. If y'all would like to join me, I feel like that is something I will do after we pick up somebody, just to preview going forward. But right now we got 2 quarterbacks. They're both young. They're both 4 or 5-star recruits, which is a good thing. But I just feel like Nico used us from the moment he was leaving high school until Saturday. So looking back,
this was a win for Tennessee, though.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah,
You can say that.
It was. It was going to happen anyway. But if it happened, I'm glad it went the route it did.
Yeah, it could be something where we did pay him and then look like little pansies and
we would have lost
our quarterback.
We would have lost the locker room the minute
Yeah,
that happened. Like, it would have been over, chemistry gone, because then every other player would have done that.
yeah.
and apparently there are things that were not brought to light where Nico was a pain in dealing with, showing up to meet and greets and giving autographs and skipping out and ghosting people on that type of thing. I've seen his family out in public. They move, as families do, but they move 15, 20 people deep. And it's just, he was rightfully so. He was a big celebrity around here, the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville, Tennessee. Like that, you're gonna be a celebrity. But he always was wearing those like shades and looked like a big time superstar. And
That's what California will do to your head.
yeah.
Get that skirt out of here, bro.
Yeah,
Get that skirt out of here.
There was a tweet that said, now that he's left, I can finally say that this skirt looked dumb. I'm paraphrasing. They used all the words, but
Yeah.
But no, have y'all seen the thing about the 2023 top 5 of quarterbacks from that class? The only one that stayed loyal was Arch.
Arch Manning, yeah.
Everybody else is transferred.
There is a stat that I saw on Twitter, or X, if you would like to call it, from G-Man Vols. And I think this game does include, who was it, Kennesaw State, that we put 70 points on earlier in the year.
Or Kent State.
Kent State, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
That's a classic scholar mix-up.
Yeah, I do that. I play the college football game a lot, and I still don't know the difference between Kent State and Kennesaw State. But Nico, without Vandy, UTEP, and Chattanooga last season, his stats, 1,836 yards, 60.7 completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That includes all games in SEC minus Vandy. It includes the college football playoff game against Ohio State. 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So we're not losing much, is what it looks like.
We're losing potential.
Yeah, well,
At most. I mean, he's a 6'6", long, he's lanky.
And looking back on his highlights, seeing him and his ability to escape the pocket and tuck and run and
low-key a good scrambler.
Juke people out. Like, I was very excited to see Nico play this season. And I'm sure whatever team he goes to, he will be the starter. He will be the guy that, takes that step forward this season. But it's not going to be with the Tennessee Vols. And for that, I say good riddance.
We'll see you in the playoff, buddy. We'll see you in the playoff.
Dude, imagine Nico, whatever team he goes to, first round of the playoffs, plays at Neyland Stadium. Bro, that would be insane. That is a big reach. I get it. But just imagine that happening. That would be crazy.
No, he goes to Ohio State, and we have to do a rematch, but it's at Tennessee, at Neyland.
Yeah. And I will say,
that would be like cinema right there.
I am man enough to say that Nico was like the only silver lining of that Ohio State game. Receivers weren't getting open. Line wasn't able to block for him. He tucked it and ran for 2 touchdowns, cracked 2 helmets on the night because he was lowering his shoulder. And you get the highlight of in the Kentucky game where Dylan Sampson breaks the single season record. They're on the goal line, and it's everybody pushing them forward in a stalemate, and then Nico runs up and pushes the pile forward into the end zone. Stuff like that, like when he's out there, and this is another reason why I say maybe this isn't all Nico's idea or anything, but you know, I'd like to say he was a team player when he was out there with his boys, but the way everything was handled, there's no coming back from it. That's what I'll say, in my opinion.
We'll see in the playoff, though.
Yeah.
Well, see, this makes me think, because I can't remember his name, that kid that transferred in from Maryland basketball-wise, but him getting $3 million.
Jacoby Gillespie.
I feel like that may have had a part in it. He's seeing these basketball players come in from the transfer portal.
Yeah, but there's less players on a basketball team, though. Like, you gotta understand, like NBA and NFL, like there's a big salary difference because there's not, 50-something players on an NBA team. There's 15. It's a 15-man roster most of the time, or 2-way contracts.
And the NFL is even a much bigger league in the United States than the NBA. It makes way more money, but there are just so many different factors that go into spending that money for that contractual difference. But
absolutely. But I agree with what you're saying, Griffin, and maybe that did, but I'm just saying, like, you got to know that if you're going into football, you shouldn't expect to be paid as much as a basketball player. I mean, that's just my opinion. So,
but anyways, I guess that'll be it for now in the whole Nico situation. Does everybody, feel like you got that off your chest?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Not about that situation, no.
All right.
Just can't believe Brock Purdy makes less than him. That's just crazy.
Makes no sense.
He also makes less than Carson Beck, so way less. But I think that contract is $3 million down in Miami this year.
See, I've heard reports of near around 4.
And that may be a reason why Nico was looking for more money.
Well, I think the Duke quarterback as well got paid pretty well too. And so you're a Duke quarterback and you're getting paid more than Tennessee one. I don't know.
I think Duke makes more money than Tennessee does, though. As much as I hate to say it, with basketball and all that. But anyways, we'll move on from the Nico situation. Like I said, may have a video coming out later this week after the spring transfer portal opens up on Wednesday. This is Monday around 12. It is 12:15 right now. So as we move forward, though, we will begin talking about something that got finalized yesterday, boys, and that was the NBA playoff picture. We do have the play-in tournament starting tomorrow night. I haven't done as much studying up on this as I probably should have, but Jacob, did you say you had the bracket?
I do, yes. So with the Warriors, with them losing to LAC in a really nice game yesterday, went to overtime, great game. James Harden and Kawhi went off, Curry and Butler as well. LAC has actually been knocked up into the 5 seed, and that loss to the Warriors puts them in the play-in tournament, which was not looking what the trajectory was looking like. It was looking like the Warriors were really good moving up, and they were going to miss the play-in. Like, they were going to be inside the actual seeding, but no.
Against the Lakers.
Yes, but they have to play the Grizzlies. So if whoever wins the Grizzlies and Warriors game, they're going to have to play the Rockets. The Rockets are the 2 seed. And then whoever loses the Warriors-Grizzlies game, they have to play the winner of the Kings versus Mavericks. And then that winner is going to have to play the Thunder. So I don't know if you're the Warriors. Maybe if you lose, that first one, you're going to have to play the Thunder. And honestly, I don't know. I feel like the Thunder don't want to see the Warriors, if I'm being honest.
I don't think anybody wants to see the Warriors, but
yeah, that's a good assessment.
Because I feel like if they end up as a 7 seed, I've been trying to get my knowledge up on Houston a little bit, but that might be a swayed 7-2 series that ends up happening.
I will say
Yeah.
this, boys. The Golden State Warriors, since the NBA play-in tournament has started, 0-3 in the play-in tournament. They are 7-point favorites Tuesday night at home against Memphis.
What's Jimmy Butler's record in the play-in?
I bet it's undefeated, honestly.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, he did when they went to the finals. They lost the first play-in, the 7-8, but then they won the 9-10 one. But regardless, yes, they also have Jimmy Butler now. So don't ever count out Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry together. I would never do that. The thing with the Rockets is that the Rockets are very young for the most part. I mean, they do have Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, but other than that, I mean, they have Jalen Green and Jabari Smith and it's just a lot of younger guys. Alperen Sengun, he's a really good player. I don't know. I feel like if they play the Rockets or if they play the Thunder, both teams are inexperienced, and I just feel like the Warriors have so much veteran depth. And star power. I don't know. I feel like the Warriors can give both of those teams a tough time. But moving on, I mean, I think the Grizzlies are going to lose to the Warriors, and I think the Grizzlies will end up coming out of the play-in, playing the Thunder in the first round.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
And that line Wednesday night, Kings hosting the Mavs. Kings -5. What about the Eastern Conference side? We got the Hawks and Magic tomorrow night.
It's the play-in special. It's always the Hawks, it's always the Heat, and it's always the Bulls. So you got the Magic playing the Hawks, and whoever wins that will play the 2-seed Celtics. Whoever loses that will play, of course, the 9-10 versus the Heat versus the Bulls, and then the winner of that will play number 1 seed Cavaliers. So Cavs look really good this year. Not sure how much it'll translate. A lot of teams are really good in the regular season, like we've seen with the Atlanta Hawks around the 2015 year. But then they get to the playoffs, and it's just a different ball game. You know, everything's different in the NBA playoffs. So Cavs may be built like a regular season maestro, but not for the playoffs. We'll see though. Who do y'all see coming out of both the West and the East? Like, who do you think the conference championships will be?
Well, I was going to say I'll take Chicago and Orlando coming out of the play-in, but
okay,
honestly, this would be absolute cinema, but I think it's going to be either Nuggets and Cavs or Lakers and Cavs.
Ooh, so you're not giving the Thunder a chance to make the finals?
Feel like they're going to run into the same issue they ran into when they ran into Luka last summer.
Luka owns the Thunder, low-key.
He owns Minnesota too.
Yeah, and Gobert.
Oh yeah.
That is the first round matchup for the LA Lakers is the 3 seed versus the 6 seed Minnesota Timberwolves.
I do see LA coming out of that. Playoff Luka and LeBron's crazy, but another dark horse is the Clippers. Man, they are red hot right now. You got Kawhi gearing up for the playoffs, and you got James Harden playing really good basketball, almost comparative to what he was just 5 years ago. It's gonna be tough with the Nuggets. I really do think the Nuggets are gonna have a hard time beating the Clippers. I can see that going to 7.
Now that we're in this part of the season, I have one thing to say: UFC. KFC, you can't see me. Lakers in 5.
I completely agree. Yes. Timberwolves, T-Wolves, T-Swift. Doesn't matter. Lakers in 5. But yeah, I do agree.
Sharp.
Yeah. I think it's gonna probably end up being the Lakers versus the Thunder coming out of that in the West for a Western Conference Finals.
All right, boys. Now that we are wrapping up episode 28 of $1 Million Radio, we got some things off our chest. Talked about basically one thing the whole time, but it is now time to give our $1 Million Radio song choices of the week. I have mine.
I also have mine.
It's a song, Jacob. You can say it with me. A song that I've been playing pretty much front to back over and over and over and over and over and over and over again all week. Sleep Token, Caramel. And the only reason I say caramel is because that's how they pronounce it in the song. But it is wrong.
How do you usually pronounce it?
Caramel.
Oh, okay.
I ain't no caramel, but I am a caramel.
Okay.
What about you,
What about
Griff?
you, Griffin?
So over the weekend, Danny and I ended up watching all of Daisy Jones and the Six on Amazon Prime. If y'all have heard about that or seen it, it was really good. A little depressing towards the end, but go figure. But the main song from that show, Look at Us Now, has just been stuck in my brain since we heard it.
Who's it by?
Okay.
It's by the fictional band Daisy Jones and the Six, but it's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, I'm
Yep.
sure.
Okay.
And what about you, Jacob?
I'm returning back to. I'm gonna pull a Griffin. I'm gonna do the same artist multiple weeks in a row. I did Novelists last week, and I'm gonna do the Novelists again this week. But this song is called "Say My Name." I think I meant to say this one last week, but I do like both the songs. But this one's "Say My Name," not "Say My Name," "Say My Name" by TLC. No, this is "Say My Name" by Novelists. So that's my pick for the week.
All right. Well, you have it. We're going to sign off here, episode $28 million radio. Stay tuned throughout the rest of the week and into next week as we will have the NBA playoffs set and more info on the whole college football spring portal ordeal. So stay tuned. And as always, we'll see you next time.